Hey guys, welcome to another update of Driving with Mitch, where I'm not actually driving. I'm parked on the side of the road near Hypertune in Sydney. Just went and dropped some work off to be done, and the potential for this new project that I'm working on to be all finalized, which is pretty damn exciting. But that's not what I want to talk about in this video. What I want to talk about in this video is how to start predicting the market trends that are happening in the crypto space, because it's very, very much the wild, wild west, and every man and his dog is speculating that this is going to go up and this is the new Ethereum and that's the new coin of the century. And there's a lot of just blanket statements that are being thrown around publicly, and I'm looking at everything. So I'm looking at these, I call them the punters, the people that are making these predictions that don't really know why they're making them, but are being reading stuff from other people making predictions and just kind of repeating those predictions rather than going and doing independent research, going and reading and listening to videos and stuff like that. So a friend of mine messaged me this morning and he's like, how are you doing all your technical analysis, and are you reading charts, and are you doing all that sort of stuff? And I started doing and trading crypto before I really knew how to read charts. It's never been a passion of mine to learn to trade stocks or foreign exchange, although I've had some pretty big wins over the years from just making speculative calls on different things at different times. Like when I've had a US-based business, when I had to bring money into Australia, I exchanged large amounts of money and made $40,000, $50,000 at a time. Just by having to move it over. And then that was when obviously the US dollar was around the other way, where one US dollar was worth about $1.20 or $1.30 Australian. So up until this point really, or a month or two ago, I never really knew how to read charts, and that might come as a massive surprise. And for those of you who can read charts, you're probably thinking, oh, you're an idiot. How can you be putting money into any kind of investment or coin or market really if you don't know how to do basic things like reading charts? And I should just clarify that I could read a chart, I could see up and down, and I understood that the dollar of a coin or the dollar of a position going up on the candlesticks, and I understood that the bottom of the graph, which is the buying of the specific commodity, whether it's a coin or a foreign exchange or a commodity itself. What I didn't understand is different theories, which I've kind of figured out on my own, and then talked to friends of mine who are currency traders and figured out that what I'm figured out myself is actually like a theory that dates back to many, many years. One of them is a triple jump, and I've forgotten what it's called, but if you see, and it works both ways, if you see a stock or a foreign exchange, it's more predominantly, I see it with foreign exchange and cryptocurrency, if you see it drop kind of 3 times, it's generally cooling off back to where the market is comfortable again, and it's ready to have a rally up. So a lot of my purchases have been made by doing that, and it works in reverse as well. If you see it trying to go up 2 or 3 times, and it doesn't work every single time, there's been some bad calls that I've made where I've lost money, but if you see kind of 1 jump and 2 jumps and then 3 jumps, and you're in a good position on that currency, whether it's crypto or foreign exchange, it's a good time to get out of there and pull your money back into something else like fiat or default currency like Bitcoin, if we're talking about altcoins here. So how do I find my information? How do I make my decisions based on, I don't sit in front of a chart and hit refresh like hundreds of times a day. I do look at charts now a fair bit, but the majority of my decisions are made based on mass psychology. Because we live in a world where we're all trained, and it all comes from the industrial age, where everyone was on the conveyor belt, and this person had to do this task, which got the product ready for the person at this task to do their task, and so on and so forth. So we have been trained, and that's what the schooling system does for us. It trains us to be very moldable by jobs and roles in different parts of the economy to complete mundane tasks and do them properly. This is why entrepreneurs generally, they zig when others zag, and this is generally why entrepreneurs are able to have massive gains when the majority of people are still kind of slaving away or stuck in a debt cycle, of a bad debt cycle. So this to just come full circle, what I'm saying here is we are taught from the industrial age and from the schooling age that we need to be doing and saying and acting a certain way. And if you understand that, and you understand people as a whole, you understand that mass psychology is generally by looking at a certain move that's being made, and if you're seeing it like across the board, if you're betting against that, you're going to have more often than not a positive outcome. And the perfect example of that is when I've heard of friends of mine that know nothing about cryptocurrency that are wanting to go and pull their 401k or their superannuation out and start playing with that. That to me says that the cryptocurrency marketplace is so widespread right now that there's people that are very, very average at investing that are throwing money at stuff that they don't understand, which means that we're going to see this kind of growth curve happening, which is happening right now. Bitcoin passed $4,000 US, or it got as high on Australian markets as $6,000 yesterday Australian. And from there, there's going to be a big cool off. There's a lot of money being dumped into this market from people, punters that don't really know what they're doing. And that's why I'm very, very cautious about what I'm saying on these videos. I'm not giving you a lot of detail on why I'm speculating on certain things, because I don't want you to go and bet the house or sell everything you own and put all your money in it, and then if I'm not right, and then you have the potential to come after me. And that's why my disclaimers in every video is go and do your research yourself and be thorough before you put any of your hard-earned money into this. So coming back to how do I go and figure out where these movements are happening? There's multiple levels, and I was explaining to a friend of mine, I did a little voice audio thing today because I didn't want to type out this much text on Messenger. And that's probably a very good point to raise as well before I explain that. If you haven't watched the last 4 or 5 videos that I've put out this week about crypto, and you want to send me a message and ask me like, what do I buy, or what wallet do I use, or any of those basic questions, I'm not going to answer you because I've already covered in a video, and I've literally got at the time of doing a public service announcement saying exactly that on Facebook, I'm at about 15 or 16 messages from 9 AM and it's now 3:30. And 80% of them are like, hey, what do I do here? Or how, something that I've answered in the video. So make sure you go and watch all the videos, and then if your question's still in your head and not answered, send me the message and I might just make a video about that if I get more and more people asking. So the information tiers that I'm using to make my decisions. First and foremost, my newsfeed is a fantastic one. The majority of people that are posting as a status, oh, this coin's going to go to the moon, or this is going to go to the moon, or this is going to go crazy. It's going to be the new Ethereum, which is what one of the things that's been spoken about a lot about Neo right now. It's going to be the new Ethereum, because a week or two ago it was like sub $10. I got it at $10, and then $17, and then $20, and now it's at like $80 Australian. It's going crazy. And when I first found out about it, it was like 60 cents, and I didn't buy it because I saw so much speculation from people that don't really know what they're talking about, and I wrote it off and didn't look deeper. So that's on me. That's a mistake that I made. If I spent time researching it and looking, I could have probably scooped up 2,000 or 3,000 of them at 70 cents, and that being worth, yeah, $80,000 or $90,000 now. But it is what it is. That's trading, and that's how this market works. So first and foremost, I'm looking through my Facebook feed. People that are new to the space, that are hearing from someone or watching one video by someone saying, oh, this is going to go to the moon. The coins that I generally don't look too much into, especially when they're an ICO, because the majority of people that are talking about them are people that don't know what's going on. From there, I'm in a bunch of like newbie Facebook groups, and some of those are very useful, but the majority of it a majority of what people are posting, I've got my first $500 that I'm willing to put in this, and what should I put it in? And then you've got all of those people that has told you about speculating on this is going to go to the moon, and this is, and this, and this, and this, and this. So I'm looking at that, and I'm using that as kind of like the lowest value information, but it's helping keep me understood and so well read in the marketplace, so that I can understand what's going on the low level psychology. From there, I'm in some private Facebook groups, which are with some very seasoned Forex and stock market investors. These are guys that whenever they see something that they have a really good feeling about, they've done their research, and they drop 100 grand into something, and it goes from 100 to 300 or 500 or whatever, and it's normally in a very short space of time, because they've got they've lined all their ducks up, and they understand where the market is, and whatever that position they're putting themselves in is prime and ready for them to make money on. So that's very, very valuable. If you can get into some of those private groups, I'd strongly recommend it. One of them is called the stock. There's two of them. One's called the Stock Watch, and one's called the Crypto Watch, and it's run by a friend of mine in the States, who actually lives in the British Virgin Islands, and he does very, very well for himself. He's a very, very avid investor. From there, I go and watch a lot of YouTube videos from guys like Jeff Berwick, the Dollar Vigilante, as well as Crypto Bud, and a lot of other guys that have been around this space pre-crypto. They've been in stocks or foreign exchange for 10 plus years, and they know what they're talking about. They don't just make a video because they've read something on someone's status on Facebook and they're ready to go. I also subscribe to a number of newsletters, namely Jeff Berwick's the Dollar Vigilante. It's like $49 a month, and it's given me some incredible returns. And Jeff is a very interesting character in that he understands a lot of the conspiracy theory, like the whole world order is trying to control the world and stuff, which I find very interesting, and I've read a lot about it, and I tend to agree with about 90% of what he has to say. But then there's also some that's just a little bit too paranoid for me to go, oh wow. But he the way that he writes is very, very useful. He knows that he's like super conspiracy theorist, and when he's writing stuff, he rather than write a big rant about it in his newsletter, he'll kind of tell you what he's thinking, but then he'll give you links to read or watch videos about the more deeper version of the conspiracy theory and trying to stick to the facts, which I really value. Then there's another newsletter I'm a part of. What's it called? The Rational Investor, which, thank you so much, Stephen Renton, for putting me onto that. That's a very, very good newsletter that a lot of technical analysis and teaching you how to read charts and all that sort of stuff. That's where I've learned a lot of chart reading and some of these theories and stuff. So they're the main two. I pay for both of them, and they're both very, very valuable. It's like $49 a month for Jeff's, and it's like it's about the same, $49 a month for the Rational Investor. And then finally, I keep an eye on a lot of the top tier news outlets, things like CNBC, CNN, when they're posting about stuff about Bitcoin, or like there was one on CNN just yesterday about Goldman Sachs advising people to start looking at Bitcoin. When you see stuff on that high level, that is very mass market adoption. And when they're talking about stuff like that, there's always two ways to think about it. There's a lot of speculation that could come from there. In the reason why they are pushing that out to news outlets is because they have an agenda that they're trying to fulfill, which means that they've probably got a lot of positions in Bitcoin that they want to raise up. Therefore, they're getting the media out there. But that's a great way, when you theorize like that, it's a great way to think about it. If they're spending money or trying to influence top level media outlets to write certain things about certain coins or certain parts of the crypto market, then there's a very high chance that that is going to move pretty heavily. Then I have the Telegram app on my phone, and I've subscribed to the group cointelegraph.com. They're on Facebook as well, and they send out 3 to 5 articles a day about different things that are happening in the crypto space. and a lot of that stuff is it's kind of a mixture of the low-level psychology and where things are moving, but it's also a lot of high-end stuff as well. Like they talk about things when Ethereum, the Ethereum creator went to Russia and was talking to Putin and struck up some kind of deal. But yeah, generally I'm looking at multiple outlets for the trading side of things and for my speculation. And then there's the final stage when I find a coin or find a opportunity or an ICO that I'm really interested in. I kind of go balls deep into it, and this is one of the reasons why I'm so sure about BCC, and I'll be so confused if it doesn't do what I think it's going to do, because I spent like 3 days like not talking to anyone and researching about it, reading white papers, looking at different blog posts and forum posts and Reddit posts, and then finally watching a ton of YouTube videos by people like Craig Wright, who's been around for a very long time, and some people actually think that he is Satoshi Nakamoto. He's an Australian guy from Brisbane, but he lives in Sydney now. And when I actually think that he is Satoshi Nakamoto, and if you don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is, it's a guy or group that has created Bitcoin, and they're completely anonymous. No one knows who the fuck they are. So someone speculated and said that Craig was Satoshi, I think 2 or 3 years ago, and the AFP, the Australian Federal Police, and the ATO, the Australian Tax Department, raided his house the same day. And then they like found evidence to support that it wasn't him. But I don't know. There's a friend of mine, Samuel, who I talked to a fair bit about this. Hi, Samuel. I know he watches my videos. I talk to him about this every day, and he's been a pivotal part in feeding me some incredible information about BCC and Bitcoin. And he shared a few videos with me. One, namely, in June, where Craig was speaking on stage. It's about 120 minutes long. If you want to know what that is, I'll put it in the notes or the comments below this video. But that video is what kind of made me think that he is Satoshi, because his vision is so clear and he's so knowledgeable. He's very, very intelligent, and yeah, you can just kind of see the similarities. But that's, again, my speculation. Nobody knows who he is, who is Satoshi Nakamoto, and no one probably ever will, because whoever he is, he's sparked a revolution that is going to be around for many, many years to come, and I believe is completely unstoppable. There's no way for any government, any one government or multiple governments, to destroy this industry. And yeah, I don't think he's ever going to come out and mention who he is. So anyway, this was supposed to be like a 2 or 3 minute video, and it's turned into a 17-minute one. But hopefully this answers a lot of questions. As always, please like, subscribe, share, tag people, share this link with people that you think might find it valuable. Thank you to all the new subscribers that have come on board in the last week. It's not a massive milestone or anything for me, but I think I've got about 25 new subscribers just by doing these. And collectively the videos have had about 4,000 or 5,000 views on YouTube across the 4 or 5 videos. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And as always, if you have any questions or anything you want me to be sharing with more specifically about crypto, please comment below. Please like, subscribe, and share. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.